Hello, hello. Right, I know it's been a little while since I posted, but I am still carrying on with the van. As you can see, there it is behind me on the drive. Most of the work I'm doing now involves the furniture. As you can see from the segment that's on screen now, we have now put the furniture in the van and we're ready to start installing everything into it. But now, unfortunately, I'm on to the part I've really been dreading. The wiring of my board. Right, it's important if you are cutting wire with a knife blade, roll the wire down the blade. Don't drag the blade across it or you will cut the cores. It's also important to note the orientation of your clips. Like, see, I'm doing these ones flat side, opposite sides, simply because obviously this bolt points up, this bolt on my switch will point down. I should have a spanner here somewhere. Practically perfect. Torque it up to 3 Newton meters, the recommended torque for a brass nut. Beautiful, it's the first terminal done.
The reason why you threaded the wires through the back of the board?
I just would have struggled with room to run the wires around the front and all the components. So it's made it a lot more awkward, but it's the only way I can manage the space that we have.
Feel envious of all those fan builds you see, and they've got the what they call the garage space with all the electrics spread out, looking all fancy.
Absolutely. So like I said, we were a little ambitious with the amount of electrics we're putting in ours. Alright, so fuse box wired up. So this will be our main switch from our hookup. Basically our incoming mains from our hookup external will go input into here. Here you've got a 6 amp and a 10 amp output. The 10 amp output will go to our van socket, so we can plug in anything we want into the van, as long as it's under about 2,600 watts. And the 6 amp will go to here, right, straight from there to here. And this plug's sole purpose is going to our mains charger here to charge our battery in the van when we're on a hookup. So the solar charger is wired up, the mains charger is wired up, the battery to battery charger is wired up, the negative terminal is wired up, the positive terminal is wired up. So it's the mains and the battery to the mains and the battery to battery feed that needs to be done. It's always important when you're doing two 30 volts electric to have the earth cable the longest. So if any of the other cables pull out and earth against something, the earth will be the last one to be pulled out. And that's my plug for my charger wired up. Ooh, that's going to be messy. Damn it. I realised I couldn't attach my battery from my vehicle battery to the battery to battery charger via the switch, because the switch has to be mounted in place from underneath and the board will already be mounted. So I've run this to a 60 amp fuse which is what this recommends. Wire from the vehicle battery will be crimped to here. That's the front of my board more or less done. Right now, I'm going to stick these down just so I can secure all the cables flat to the back. The idea is to limit any movement in the cables from vibration, etc. There we go. Nothing's really floating around. And that is pretty much my board complete. Okay, so I'm finally at the stage now where I'm fitting the furniture in the van and fitting everything into the furniture. The electrical board took way longer than I intended. It was a nightmare. If I ever do another van or another electrical board like that, I will make sure I've got much more room to work with. That was horrible. So the first job is figuring out where the furniture actually goes. But first of all, I've got to cut away a part of this trim because the furniture hits it. For that, I'm using a multi-tool. Need to tidy this up a bit now. Right, if you've been watching Shure videos, you probably remember that we found our light overlapped this trim here. Well, off camera, I found because the wire goes in at the edge of the light, I was able to unscrew the light, twist it slightly and screw it back up and it doesn't look out of place. We also found the little spring clips shaped like that go over the edge of this and then push into the slot, which holds it in with friction. Now a lot of people have complained about that friction fit, but I don't think this is moving anytime soon. That's pretty tight. If anything, I think we pushed it in a bit too hard.
Take the baton. Take the
Yay! Through much umming and ahhing and humping this about, I think we've got its final resting place. What do you reckon, Kerry? Enough space at your end?
Yeah, there's a gap at my end and in between the seat and that to let airflow. It doesn't go right back and touch the wall. Hopefully we can still screw it in though.
Yeah, there's places where I can bracket it.
Yeah.
Oh, we just had a wasp fly through the van.
It looks alright though.
Yeah.
I think it's the best we're going to get it, to be fair.
Yeah, now just got to figure out where it's got to go. Right, so I've cut two pieces of wood, one thinner than the other. It's slightly shorter than the length of my board. I have about, I don't know, nearly an inch on each side. So I will G-clamp this one to here. And I will G-clamp this one to here. I will put screws through it into here, and then I've got somewhere to put slide my board in and screw it to. And that should be my electrical board in place.
You ready? Right, okay.
Right, basically to fill you in on what's been going on, I've attached these pieces of wood here where the board will go in. My initial plan was to build a shelf just above the wheel arch height in here, cut a couple holes in it for the battery strap, put some edging for the battery, and then when you open this cupboard here, you'd have a divide in the middle here with a battery compartment at the top and storage at the bottom. But I've been looking at it and the battery will actually fit inside this gap between the wheel arch and the front with 4 centimeters to spare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a new battery tray now that I no longer have to do a big shelf in the middle. Okay, not in the middle, over that way a little bit. No, that way a bit more.
You said that way. That way.
Okay, hold it still and I'll move it. Actually, that'll do, that'll do. Camp it there. That's it.
Yep, you're a much better blower.
Mm-hmm. That's how I make the big bucks, girl. Okay, now that we figured out that the battery can actually go on the floor, I didn't want to sitting directly on the floor, so I've made a little tray for the battery to sit in with edges and room underneath for the battery strap to go under. So when I'm ready to fit this in the van, I should put this through, a couple of holes here, and I'll screw straight into the floor. There'll be a 1.5 to 2 inch gap under it, and the battery should sit in here nicely with a strap going over it here. That is a plan. The moment of truth. It fits.
I was right on the edge.
It's fine. Battery strap under here, over here. Job's a good one. We have a battery tray.
Nice.
Right, we've decided to call it a day for now. Because the next stage will be, I'll have to get everything in place, like the gas box, figure out where the battery tray is going. Then I've got to figure out whether or not I can actually screw them down and pull the furniture out in place. That'll be fun. I'm hoping that'll be a case so I can work around it. I can put the curtains on the back window. I've got to cut the holes in the cabinet for the switch panel and our 240 sockets and our inverter switch and USB ports and stuff like that. So I've still got loads to do, but it is coming along.
Plus, we have to decide where the diesel heater is going to come out.
Yes, the diesel heater, the
nightmare.
The ever-present drama of the diesel heater. I have no idea where I'm going to put it. I thought about putting it somewhere in the front, but I don't want it blowing out on the dogs because it does blow out at like 80 degrees or something like that. I'm thinking the best place to put it might be under the rock and roll bed. I did think about putting it inside one of the cupboards, pointing out away from the dogs, but the problem I've got with that is the only places I really can put it in the cupboard are really close to the wheel arches, and I just don't fancy that. Anyway, that's a problem for another video. So yeah, we thought we'd come down by the van and chill, enjoy the weather with a cup of tea.
Just to finish it off after
Just finish it off, yeah.
You tidied up and I made tea.
So yeah, if you've found any of our content useful or enjoyable, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.
See ya.
Wouldn't want to be ya.